It's not about aging. It's about rejuvenating and getting and staying strong. This is the third video in the Ageless Body, Timeless Mind series. So a quick recap of the Ageless Body, Timeless Mind practices for rejuvenation and longevity. The first is that massive perspective shift that understanding age is not time. Decouple your programmed concept that age equates to time. When you can do this, it'll enable you to declare and live into a new, younger, virtual age for yourself. And through mindfulness, reprogramming, diet, exercise, and breathing, you will slow your physical aging process. You'll reduce pain, stiffness, and inflammation in the body. Just a reminder to watch the first videos in these series. Everything starts with a foundation, and for each day, that is your morning routine. You do need a morning routine. It doesn't have to be extensive, and you can add on and adapt it, but never neglect it. This is the primary core of your mindfulness around your new virtual age. There are three things you need to prioritize. You need to hit these right away: hydration, movement, and sunlight, or a specific blue light, and we'll discuss more about that later. First thing, hydration. It's either an electrolyte or a sea salt water, a lemon or citrus water, or even an organic herbal tea, but no caffeine for the first hour or so. You really need to get that body hydrated and those electrolytes replaced as soon as you wake up. The second thing you want, and some people would say this is the first, you want sunlight. Just get sunlight in your eyes for a few minutes. Hey, if you can get 15 minutes on your skin, you're good to go. But if you're waking before dawn or shift working, there is a wavelength of blue light that simulates sunlight. And for years I used a blue light from a company called Philips that allowed me to manage my circadian rhythm. The circadian rhythm management is essential because that'll allow you to determine when you're completing REM cycles, and you want to complete REM cycles in and around the time you're waking up. The third thing is some kind of movement. And to keep it as simple as possible, there is a practice to encourage your lymphatic system to flow. It's quick, it's easy, and it leads into my favorite movement practice called gathering clouds. And that is a Danda yoga movement. Let's take a look at those. Movement exercise. All right, this looks silly, I know, but it's easy and it'll get you going. So you're really just moving up and down a little bit. But, oh wow, that's even better. But as you jump up and down, you're kind of letting your arms flop. So like let your shoulders come up and down. Like there's no,
Like that.
Yeah. And just, like you don't even really have to jump. You can just bounce. Like if jumping is a problem for you, or you got issues with your calves or your knees, you just bounce a little bit, Flop around. That's it. That is the lymphatic flow drill. Now let's talk about the Danda yoga exercise. And Danda yoga is fantastic. It's actually a lost art, what they call a forgotten art. It came out of what was Burma, and I learned it from a 10th degree grandmaster named Dr. Muang Ji. He has a fascinating story, but we're not going to talk about him today. We are going to talk about gathering clouds. So the concept of gathering clouds is opening up the chest and opening up the back, all right? And basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna stand with legs a little bit apart and get into what we call a horse stance. So that's knees bent, arms all the way up and like a big stretch, or reach up. And then reaching for the sides, you scoop down and gather the clouds, but your neck goes all the way forward, like it's gonna touch the ground. And then you come up and you spread the chest. All right, now you're spreading the back and stretching the legs and hips. Like I'm almost in a sumo horse stance here. Like you'll feel that stretch all through here. So it's gathering clouds. That's it. Reach up, open up. Here I'm opening up the chest. Here I'm opening up the back. Here I'm coming back. Just gathering the clouds, scooping them up. This is a fantastic movement drill. Super low impact. See? I'm reaching up as high as I can. I got my arms reaching back as far as I can. I feel that stretch all through my shoulders and chest. Head down. Try to touch the ground. Head back. Oh. Do that 10 times. That's your movement drill. That's all it takes to get things moving in the morning. I mean, you can go whole hog from there, but you want to start slow. You want to create a morning routine that's workable, that's sustainable, that you can actually manage. Because like I said, pushing 60 years old, you get out of bed in the morning. Sometimes you feel a little stiff. I mean, I can go into the punching drills, right? The blocking drills. They're all movements that open up the hips as I do it, right? Upward blocks, inward blocks. It's all a good stretch. Anything that's stretching you out, moving you around, even like the light front snap kicks, you know. I like the Bill Superfoot Wallace drill. This is actually a lat exercise. There's so many little movement drills you can do. There are so many different practices for nutrition and sustenance in the morning. I think this is flexible and it depends a lot on the individual you. And I'll go through some of them and tell you what works for me. The 30-30-30 method. According to the 4-Hour Body, this is the fastest way to shred and lose body fat. It's simple, it requires a lot of discipline and planning. At least for me, it did. So within 30 minutes of wakening, you'll get 30 grams of protein and do 30 minutes of medium to high intensity exercise. That's it. Now, I'm not a morning person. For me, I struggle to remain consistent doing this. So other research and science contradicts this. It says no food for 3 hours upon awakening, just hydration. And that can be a sustainable option, especially if you're on a program like keto. And of course, depending on your work or your routine, you may not be able to do that. But always consider intermittent eating protocols. You want to try to get all your nutrition within an 8 to 10 hour window. And of course, the kicker, either way, as a reminder, there's no sugar ever. No fruit juices in the morning, no high glycemic index or those dry carbs. Get a solid protein and healthy fat breakfast. Personally, I go either steak and eggs with avocado. A couple of eggs, some steak, kimchi, and avocado. Breakfast. You know what? And lunch probably too. Or extra virgin coconut oil and a protein shake. That extra virgin coconut oil is a fantastic medium chain triglyceride. So, I'm pushing 60. So what I do is a combination of these practices. Not everything has worked for me. I try to get up, I hydrate, I get the sunlight, I get some movement in. But what I really have found that works for me is this antioxidant drink. It packs a kick. Check it out. All right, we are going to talk about the most fantastic health drink. It is essentially ginger juice. And we also, of course, do the fresh turmeric, 5 lemons, cayenne pepper, sea salt, and then we mix that all up, maybe sometimes with a little honey. But then when we go to drink it, it's either a shot of the virgin coconut oil, the extra virgin olive oil, and or apple cider vinegar. So this doesn't go in the mix because it'll congeal when we make this cold. We put this in just before we drink it. And today we're going to make this. It's a little labor intensive, but it is so worth it. We scrub down the ginger and the turmeric with baking soda and soak it for a little while before we cut it up and blend it. Doesn't need to get peeled because it's all going to get blended and strained. I use gloves when I'm working with this because it'll stain everything. So this is sort of the labor intensive part right here. Sometimes it's easier to squeeze it.
Okay.
This stuff is so insanely spicy. It's like drinking Tabasco sauce. It's unreal. I know. Now this stuff is awesome. Awesome way to start the day. Big shot of this with the cayenne pepper, the salt, the extra virgin olive oil and or coconut oil, and apple cider vinegar. Sometime during the day, but at least an hour after waking up and after eating, I'll have a cup of coffee, sometimes two, but it has to be 12 hours before bedtime. I encourage you to read up on the half-life of caffeine to better understand why. This can really mess up your sleep cycle. There are so many other drinks like apple cider vinegar or any vinegar mixed with water. What's up next? A shot, actually more like a tablespoon or two of apple cider vinegar, some extra virgin coconut oil or extra virgin olive oil. Mix that. They recommend doing it with lemon juice and cayenne pepper. Alright. This will regulate your blood sugar. So you do this before you eat. And you do this before every meal if you can. And of course, creatine, the number one supplement. Supplement with creatine every day. But I'm going to wait till after weight training to do this. Research has shown this will lower your insulin response, manage your blood glucose, and assist with insulin resistance if you have it for every meal. And that's important for fat loss. I used to do the juice of 2 lemons with a tablespoon of baking soda. Wait for that to fizz up, knock it back. Some days I just wake up and throw some baking soda in a glass of water with some creatine. Knock it back. The bottom line is avoiding the caffeine, getting the hydration, and electrolytes. There are evening routines as well. No eating 3 hours before sleep. It says your body can heal or digest, but not both. But for heavy weight training, some protocols recommend a slow absorption protein shake before bed. No caffeine, no alcohol, and no sugar ever before bed. The whole no sugar thing is just something you're going to need to come to terms with for an ageless body. Studies also recommend the blue light blockers if you're using a screen before bed and sleeping in a cold or cool, absolutely blacked out room. Join me in the next video where we talk a little bit more about movement, flexibility, and weight training to stay strong. Because weight training in your 40s is probably going to be different for you than weight training in your 50s, pushing 60, like it is for me. There is stuff that worked for me in my 40s that doesn't really work for me now. So we'll talk about all that.
Quality over quantity every time. Intensity versus frequency. Set the bar high. Don't quit.